Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome to the first episode of TekTopia. For those of you who may not know what TekTopia is, basically it's an improved villager mod created by TangoTek where you are the mayor of a village that you have to build from the ground up. Now this is an incredible mod and I have been so excited to get going and play it, and today is finally that day, and my plan for this series is to kind of teach you how to play and what to do while simultaneously teaching myself, because I have watched Tango's playthrough but my memory isn't really the greatest, so I kind of forgotten most things, but we will get there together. So the first thing we want to do is the same you do with any vanilla world, is make yourself a crafting bench after you punch some trees and go mining, and we're just going to get ourselves situated a bit so when nightfall comes we don't end up dying straight away and we can actually then get started on the mod. So now we're all geared up with our iron armor and enough tools and food to last us for a little while. The first thing to do is to find a village, which thankfully there happens to be one on the other side of this forest here. So the thing that makes finding a village from the get-go super helpful is that somewhere around here, it's playing his music, we will find some of these, and basically these are the icons that are needed to make the buildings that you create seen as functional, homes or blacksmiths or whatever the type of building is. It allows it to be functional by the villagers. So we are going to grab every single one of these that we see and pretty much ruin these guys' lives most likely. These two icons that you see right here are the two that you should definitely grab even if you don't grab all of the rest of these. These two are super helpful, the town hall, which we're going to get onto very shortly, and the storage, which we may possibly get to this episode. I'm not quite sure. I'm also not really sure what's going on here, but these guys are none of my business. We are not going to set up our village anywhere near these guys. I've just thought that we probably should actually grab the item frames, as I don't really want to have to craft these. I have raided you guys for pretty much everything I could possibly need, so I'm eternally grateful, and yeah, I'm just gonna head off in a direction a ways away from you guys, so yeah, good luck I guess. All the best to you. That was brutal. I'm gonna gab here before things get worse. I have found the most beautiful piece of land to build our village upon. This area right here in amongst all the mountains is just perfect. Just enough space for everything we need, not too little so that it's not enough room, but not too much so that it's overwhelming. We've got stunning overhangs, waterfalls galore, interesting and unique terrain, plus room for expansion like this gorgeous area right here just through the trees. My mind is racing with ideas. So this is where home is going to be. I'd love to say that I found this just by chance whilst wandering through my world, but no, this is actually a seed I found online whilst trying to find one that had sort of every biome somewhat close to the spawn area, which it does. It's like the mesa and jungle and ice plains, so I've got everything that I kind of need nearby. So this is the seed. If you'd like to use it and check out for yourself, you are more than welcome to. This is the coordinates of the area we are at, so, you know, 0, 500, 600, somewhere around there. But yeah, so not really by chance, but I was just flying around in a creative world and stumbled upon this, and I couldn't resist. It's just too magnificent. And it just so happens to be the perfect area that is going to work so well for the idea that I have in my head, which I'm going to walk you through very shortly. But before we do that, I'm going to enter my little hidey hole here that I've temporarily set up and dumped all of my stuff in. We're going to make the town hall because that is step number 1 when it comes to creating the village. You tend to forget just how grindy the early game is of Minecraft when you've been playing in a world with efficiency 5 tools and haste 2 and all of those wonderful things. So this simple task of replacing the stone with dirt took a lot longer than I was planning on it. So I kept running out and then having to go back with my stone shovels, which aren't exactly the fastest, and yeah, it took a lot longer than I was planning on it. But anyway, it's done now, so that's that, and the town hall is going to be just built in the background whilst I talk about a couple of things. The first of those being the texture pack. It may look kind of familiar, but kind of not at the same time. So it's actually one of the early releases of the new updated textures. So TekTopia is in game version 1.12.2. Tango did say he was going to go up to 1.14, but I think the man needs a break. He's been working on this mod pack for many months now, and yeah, I can't say I blame him, honestly. So maybe we'll get the new textures, or the newest release of the new textures at some point, but I think this one's fine for now. However, if you do have any suggestions of ones I can find online, like made by the community, then please let me know. I'd be more than happy to have a look and see if any of them take my fancy. So what is my plan for this village? What is going on inside my head? Well, I've got an idea, and I'm not sure if it's going to work. It's either going to look really cool or really terrible. It could truly go either way. So a few months ago, I went to a beautiful French town called Chamonix. It's within the Alps, and it is by far my favourite place I've ever been to. Having said that, in 2 weeks, as I record this, I'm off to Canada, so that may actually take its top spot. But as of right now, it's my favourite place that I've ever been to, and I simply adored it. I fell in love with the architecture there. It's not exactly an unheard of thing, but all of the houses looked completely unique and were not at all a replica of another, but they also were of similar styles. So I'm going to flash some photos up on the screen. Some I took, some I probably found online, because I don't think I actually took that many of the chalets or cabins or, you know, whatever they are. But yeah, just so you can get an idea for what it all looks like. So this way it's going to give us a really wide range block palette. So we can use almost any wood type, maybe not jungle, any stone type, a lot of terracotta types we could probably use as well. Yeah, I'm really not sure how it's going to go. I might have to hop into a creative world and sort of just build up some houses and see how they look next to each other before we actually do it in this world. But yeah, that's my idea, and if it falls through, we can always just do what we're doing here with the dark oak and the spruce, because they always work together. There is a slight chance one or two of you may actually recognize this building. It's pretty much an exact copy, except for some block changes, of a town hall that I built in my Creating a Community series back, oh, I don't know, a year and a half ago maybe from now. And in that series we pretty much built a village from the ground up like we are doing here, except that series was not quite as in-depth as this one's going to be, but I thought that would be a nice little homage to that series, and plus it's a really nice town hall design, don't you think? I do quite like it. All we need to do now is actually the interior, because right now this isn't exactly ideal. Now, I haven't exactly done much with the interior, and I'm probably going to keep it that way throughout the entire village, just because this mod pack has some specifics when it comes to structures, like we can only build on one Y level, so we can't have an upstairs, hence why it's so open. So pretty much what I've done is just sort of rounded off the edges up here, made it look a little smoother, and done a nice floor. And I've got this here as though it's sort of like a, you know, if I need to come speak to all the villagers, I'll stand up here and they will crowd around and listen, and just some torches on the wall. So yeah, it's very bland, but I don't want to make it, you know, not usable by the villagers. So that's actually, you know, count and seen as a structure, which is what we're gonna do now. So fingers crossed this works. We should get 2 villagers that will spawn in here. fingers crossed. We might need to give it some time. Let's go and maybe they've... Nope, let's give it a bit more time. I tested this in the creative world. I sort of like backed away and then came back and then they were there. There they are. There was a little bit of a lag spike. You might have felt it. I think that was them spawning in. So who we got here? Tradesman, good name, and our architect. So these two guys right here are actually two of the most important villagers. Basically, they allow us to make the village. Who should we start with? Let's start with the architect over here. He sells all of the different icons for all the different things we can build. So tavern, school, sheep pen, mineshaft, pig pen, home, so on and so forth. There's all of these that we can buy from him. So that is how we make the actual structures. There is obviously a lot for us to choose from. And then the tradesmen over here, they don't actually have names. I don't think they're meant to though. This is what allows us to make a villager, you know, give them a job basically. So a guard, enchanter, bard, you know, all the professions available, we can purchase them off of him and yeah, assign them to our villagers whenever we get them, which I'm not entirely sure when that's going to be, because this is, you know, technically functional now. So we might get some nomads rolling in, or I'm not really sure. It might be a little bit of a waiting game, or perhaps do what I usually do and refer to the wiki. However, guys, I think we're actually going to call it there on this episode. I would like to get this out for Saturday the 24th, I believe. Somewhere around that date. I'm not too sure if that's the correct number. But basically this coming Saturday, which is 2 days away as I record this. So I don't really want to do any more because I'd like to get the video out then. So apologies if it's a little bit of a shorter episode. Most of them will probably be around 20 minutes. I might have even hit that. I'm not really sure. So next episode, I think what we're going to focus on is actually getting a nomad, or I think they're called nomads, the ones that just wander about and then you can assign them a job. We need a ranger because farms... Wait, that might not be the right profession. We need a farmer, not a ranger. My bad. Because I was reading up on the wiki and that basically says that should be the first thing you focus on, because otherwise they will starve and die. Thankfully those guys don't count as actual villagers, so we don't need to worry about feeding them. But when we do get an actual population going, then we need to, you know, think about actually giving them some food. Before I do head off though, I'd like to show you a couple of things I've done off camera. So this world is going to be like a normal survival world. I'm going to have all sorts of farms. I'm going to go mine. Well, I probably won't go mining once we have miners doing that for us. But, you know, I will actually be playing in the world like a normal survival world you would. So I've got some stuff set up here. I've just got a bunch of, what's that, potatoes? No, yes, potatoes, carrots and wheat, just when I need it. And then over here, I have got a little mine shaft going down there. And then an enchanting room here. I've got myself a very nice axe, which came in handy for building that giant wooden thing. But yeah, I most likely won't show a lot of that on camera because it's not really what this series is about. That's just sort of stuff that needs to happen, but isn't really that interesting. This is interesting. I do just quickly want to say though, before I do head off, eventually I'll go, I promise, soon. I've mentioned in a couple of my other videos that I don't particularly have a load of time at the moment. I have somehow managed to cobble together this episode, well, fingers crossed if you're seeing it, within the space of like 5 days, so I do have a little bit of time to record and play, but not loads. So if videos sort of go, you know, you don't see one in a while, then that's normal. I'm hoping I can get my time back soon, but yeah, they won't be like weekly because I only ever do weekly videos. So I don't know, maybe every 2 weeks possibly, although maybe I'll be able to play loads and get a load of episodes out. You never know. The possibility is there, but yeah, just letting you know, I won't be releasing too many episodes too frequently, just so you got a heads up in case you are new to the channel, which if you are, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the series and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I truly cannot wait to see where this series goes. Fingers crossed it all goes to plan and we can get a full-fledged functioning wonderful village and create a truly wonderful piece of land, or not piece of land, a beautiful village on a piece of land. Yes, anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.